A few months ago, we did a video on 50 frugal living tips. Now, we asked the viewers to send in their ideas, and one viewer went above and beyond the call of duty and sent in 50 of her personal favorite frugal tips. Some of them are amazing. None of them have we mentioned before, and we're going to share them with you in this video.
Hi, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
All right, let's dig right into the topic for tonight's video, 50 of our viewers' favorite frugal tips.
It's unfortunate that we lost the name of that viewer, though. We don't have the name. So if you were the one that sent these in, comment for us, and we would love to give you credit because you did a wonderful job here.
All right, tip number 1, frozen orange juice. She uses them for smoothies. Now remember, this was a few months ago. At that time, Aldi sold frozen orange juice for $1.49 a container. But what she did was she added 2 additional cups of water, making 5 cups in total of filtered water. It makes almost 50% more of the orange juice, and she said her family did not even notice the difference.
Her tip number 2 is on homemade handkerchiefs. She makes handkerchiefs out of used up bed sheets. We use the Egyptian cotton ones, which are softer than any paper Kleenex or Puff brands. Hubby loves his little stash of purple ones stored in an attractive basket next to his sink. It isn't necessary to hem them. Just cut them, fold them, and store them. Wash in cold with the towels.
Number 3, Huck towels and rags. I had never heard of this. Tell us in the comments section if you have. Instead of using paper towels, she said, I haven't used or purchased paper towels in 5 years. This saves her close to $350 a year. Huck towels are surgical, low-lint towels. She purchased 50 count package 5 years ago for $45, and she's still using them today.
I've never heard of Huck towels. That's interesting. Replace your storage bins by selling them. They're extremely hot right now.
That's true.
With free banana boxes from your local produce guy. The boxes are made more durable, free, and easy to carry with 9 handles on either side. You can label them easily. They stack better and higher than the plastic bins.
Now, the next tip, bidets became incredibly popular during the pandemic. Now, I know those of you who are watching overseas in Europe, you've used bidets for a really long time. Here in the States,
not common.
We kind of heard about them. They were not common at all until the massive toilet paper shortage of 2020. And so this viewer says that she actually makes her own. They call them family cloths. So much like she uses the Egyptian cotton to make the homemade handkerchiefs for each person, she also makes a special wipe that she uses for after the bidet is used, and she stacks them in an attractive container. Each person has their own personal stack. They each have their own bathroom too in her house, by the way. And then she has a little bucket where you put the cloth in after you've used it.
Oh, that's an interesting solution.
Yeah.
That's very original. Cloth Christmas gift wrap, saving all the fun colored rags and turning them into gift bags. They look stunning beneath the Christmas tree and are reusable. Zero paper waste.
Love
Oh,
it.
I like that idea.
I do too.
You can also pick up cheap bolts of fabrics from garage sales for this. Avoid the fabric stores, and it adds up fast.
Do you remember the year that we did this? So we did not do it with rags. This was like a matter of necessity. We all 6 of us got the flu days before Christmas. And on Christmas morning, we were all laid up. So
Very sick.
We're on the couches.
Yeah.
We're on cots. We're all laying together in the same room, really ill. But it struck right before Larry and I had a chance to even wrap any gifts. We took all the gifts and we put each person's gift in their own personal pillowcase, and everybody got a pillowcase full of gifts. And the kids liked it so well, they wanted to do it again the next year. Not the flu part. the pillowcase part.
We don't want a repeat of that. That's for sure. Okay, here's another tip. Carpool, no brainer.
Yeah.
Cut your gas in less than half if you can find a friend or a classmate to share a ride. People are all very open to this right now due to the gas hikes.
I know. Does anybody carpool like on a regular basis? Larry did for a long time. There were several months in a row that you carpooled with this person who lived like literally around the corner.
A block away.
A block away from our house. It was great for both of them. Saved on gas and gave them someone to chit chat with on the way to work and to and from work, I guess.
Yeah, this year it'd be a little harder to do that. Riding the e-bike, it'd be a little hard to carpool with the e-bike.
Get on the back.
Yeah.
All right. Number 8, trim your own dog. Now, my mother has 2 dogs that have to be trimmed every 8 weeks, so I know this is expensive. Average dog trim. Did you know this, Larry? $65.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, they say if you take a dog like a Shih Tzu, which you have to be really careful the way you say that dog name, I'm just saying. 6 times a year, the dog has to be trimmed. Almost $400 a year, if you count that, times 6, 65 times 6. So instead, study a free YouTube video online, buy a nice trimmer. She got hers for $45. We trim him often and take him in once in a while for a $15 nail trim at our vet. He prefers our trims to that of strangers.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. And we never had a dog that needed their haircut. We had a lab that just shed all over the whole house, but never did we have to cut her.
No, we
hair.
brushed her regularly, but really it did not make a difference.
Yeah, no. Next tip is no mow may. No, I said that right.
I just like the way it sounds.
Not no more, no mow.
No mow may.
No mow may.
Which means
say that 3 times in a row. Save on gas and time, which is money. Both are money. No mow in May. It allows the grass buds to grow up, and when you mow them, you'll have a thicker lawn. When the neighbors ask, tell them, we're doing a no mow May, which is a national conservative campaign. Then your frugality is noble. And you don't have to say, we don't mow in May. We have a no mow May already, because we have zoysia grass, and it really doesn't get started till about mid-June. And then it finishes early. It finishes like at the first or second week of October, and it turns yellow. It's all done. It's great. Good stuff. Really thick, and it doesn't get a lot of weeds either. So,
zoysia grass is the same kind that they have on golf courses.
Yeah, it is.
And so our yard looks like brown and ugly, and then like overnight, all of a sudden it's like green, and then all of a sudden in the fall it's like brown. There's nothing in between.
The only thing is you need a really good self-propelled mower. It takes a lot to get through it. Yeah.
Okay, the next strategy that she sent us was family brainstorming meetings on conservation. I love this idea. Getting your kids involved, guys. Involve the kids in the planning to get ownership of the better practices that your family is going to do. Let them think and write down their ideas first. You can reward each idea with a small treat to make it even more fun. Training on frugality.
And so it's good to pass it down to the next generation.
Yeah.
That's very important. Okay, here's another tip from our unknown contributor. Small garbage buckets. Instead of paying for garbage bags, and they are a very costly petroleum product, which all plastics are, use 2 small 5-gallon buckets from a nearby bakery for free. And tuck grocery bags in as liners. Have a paper bin above or beside it so people are dispensing of paper separately. Did I say that right?
Yep,
dispensing of paper separately. Your garbage buckets won't fill very fast. Produce should be used in compost, and paper is burned for backyard fire pits. We change our 2 buckets twice a week. Boy, that is a really good way, very efficient way to handle the trash.
I love the way that she thought about it very systematically.
Yeah.
So that it was very ordered. Here's what you do with paper. Here's what you do with compost that can be put in the garden. And here's what you do with everything else that you can't otherwise dispose of.
That's off the charts.
Number 12, pay neighbor kids to harvest fruit. Ask your 10-year-old neighbor kid, she must have some, to help you harvest apples, raspberries, strawberries. They get their portion of the goodies, and you get young hands willing to help you harvest your money-saving fruit, and everybody wins.
Oh boy, we have to think about that next year. We harvested our apple tree. It didn't take us too long.
Yeah, but we had our kids do it. We did.
They helped out with it. I had to get up on a ladder to get some of the higher ones, but that can be quite a task if you have a lot of produce. Bulk buy kitty litter and winter salt. Store it in a pickup bed during the winter to help with slippery roads. Then, as you draw close to spring, remove a few bags every couple of weeks. Easy storage, 2 birds in 1 stone.
Now, for those of you who do not live in a place where it gets snowy and icy, we'll explain just a second here. So in the Midwest, the rule always was, now not so much anymore, I can't remember if it was a front wheel drive or rear wheel drive, that you would put heavy bags in your trunk. That was always the rule when I was a kid. Rear wheel drive.
Yeah.
And so to keep from skidding around on the ice, you always wanted to have heavy bags in your trunk.
And the main reason why we do that in the Midwest is snow and ice are slippery.
I guess they are. Yes, indeed. There you go. You heard it from us first, folks. All right. You have heard of a summer kitchen. We make a summer living room. If you have a finished basement, move the family room down there due to air conditioning costs for family time just in the hottest summer months. Now, we have a completely finished basement with a full kitchen and a full bathroom and a family room down here. So we kind of do that. We hibernate down here like most of the year, I think. In our case, they moved their 10 by 15 foot front office, which they hardly used, into the actual huge living room. And then and I'm going to turn the page here, guys, so you know what I'm doing. And then we move the bulk of our necessary living room furniture into the smaller office area. We put in a 5,000 BTU air conditioning window unit in the new summer living room, and it cools the room in 2 minutes flat.
Wow, that is good. So they can turn off their central air and never use that expensive way of cooling their home. That's great. Here's another tip. It's called free raised garden beds. We tried this a couple of different times.
We did so well. Our first raised garden bed at the old house, guys, it rocked.
It was good.
It was really, really good.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here.
I don't know what happened here.
We're not really garden people. Green thumb is not in our middle name. But
we can learn. We can learn.
We might do that too. So free raised garden beds and compost bin from free wood pallets. Easy to cut in half and secure together with metal brackets. In our case, my hubby is an IT management, so he has a lot of leftover several brackets, and we use those to create 10 raised garden beds. Only thing we paid for was the mushroom farm compost.
Server brackets. He's in IT, has leftover server brackets. That's what that was. The only thing I've heard, and weigh in on this, will you guys? So we've mentioned pallets before and all the really cool things you can do with pallets. So the topic of creating raised garden beds has come up before. And somebody said, this was a while back, so I'm trying to pull it out of my memory, that some of the pallets have been treated. So you want to make sure that you're getting untreated pallets. Anybody know anything about that? Tell us in the comment section so we know what to look for. Somebody said green or something meant they'd been treated.
You don't want the treated ones last longer to be used as pallets, but they don't work too good out on your soil.
You don't want that leaching into your fruits and vegetables and stuff. So I don't know. Tell us so we know what to look for. Thanks.
Number 16, limit showers to once a week. Use traditional method of sink baths. We used to call those spit baths.
Oh, we call them sponge baths.
Oh, we call them that too.
You call them spit baths?
Spit
really?
Bath, that's what my mom called them.
Wow.
Yeah. They didn't really, You
didn't really spit, did you?
Not technically speaking.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you for telling us that.
Thank
you for reassuring us.
You're welcome. Just a colloquialism, folks. Anyway, Limit showers to once a week. Using a small basin of soapy water or the sink, wash down your body with a washcloth and warm water. Yeah. You can also wash your hair in the kitchen sink between showers. By the way, I do that all the time. I always wash my hair in the kitchen sink. I use the sprayer. It's real easy. It doesn't take but about 1 minute or less to do. Better for your skin, hair, and wallet. Just remember to never let that water run.
All right, ice cream buckets. I like creative reuse ideas.
I like ice cream.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's a win-win.
I will help her out with this one.
All right, ask friends to save their 1-gallon ice cream buckets. They make ideal storage for dried beans, pasta, rice, etc. Use the large 5-gallon buckets for bulk storage and the ice cream buckets for more immediate use. They freeze well too. Our veggie bucket is filled with square, easy to fit ice cream buckets with sliced veggies inside. Easy to label them with a Sharpie.
I think she meant her veggie freezer. Her veggie freezer is filled with square,
okay, there you go.
Easy to fit ice cream buckets. That's nice. They're very efficient to use because you're really utilizing all your space rather than the kind that, kind of taper down toward the bottom. These are square and they stack better.
Yeah, I think the square ones rather than the circular ones would make really, really good sense for this.
Yep, they do. They certainly do. Okay, here's another tip from this wonderful viewer. Spaghetti sauce jars. They're great for storing nuts and seeds that are purchased in bulk. No need to remove the air from the container. You only pour enough to fill the jar. Then seal up the remaining portion in the bag that it was sold in.
All right. Reuse all food bags if they're food grade. We no longer buy Ziploc. Plastic is petroleum-based, which is costly on so many different levels. We have a jar of bread twist ties and a jar of bread clips. When we use up food such as bagels, we turn the bag inside out, wash it, dry it, and store it in a box marked plastic food bags. Then when we break down large food products such as bulk cheese, we portion it all out into the repurposed bagel bags. Push out all the air and seal it with a twist tie. They freeze well.
And I got to say, we do this with bread wrappers. We clean out the bread wrappers. We put them in a drawer, fold them up, and we use those for leftovers. Sometimes I use them for covering an open dish. I just put the dish in the bread bag, cover it over, put a twist tie on it. It's sealed up. I mean, these are kind that don't have lids. So the bread wrapper acts as a lid, sealing up that item in the refrigerator.
We actually use the bread bags for bread, too, when I make all my bread.
How about that? Yeah.
I know, it's a crazy idea.
You can use it for bread. Yeah, that's good.
Here, the next tip is about bartering.
Barter meat for veggies. We recently went plant-based. So instead of just getting rid of all the meat in our meat freezer, we are bartering it for veggies grown by friends and neighbors. They want the meat and we want the veggies. That is a good trade-off. Wow.
All right. Make your own dog food. Tons of recipes online. We use some of our meat that they have left over. They give their dogs meat. Mix it with rice, peas, diced up carrots, and beans. And voila, our dog adores it. He gets 1 cup a day, and we supplement with dried dog food later in the day.
And if you do this, make sure that you own a dog.
All right, next tip.
Stop buying gifts. Offer your skill or time. As kids, we gave Mom coupon books made in school with chores we'd do for her. That's a nice gift. She'd use up the coupon, and we were happy to give her a useful gift. Why not do that as adults? It's kind and thoughtful, and it's a way to bless someone with a skill set that you possess. My hubby fixes PCs, so it's an easy gift to give instead of cash.
Neighborhood rentals. I loved this idea. How clever. Our neighbor inspired us to do this. Talk amongst your neighbors and see who would be interested in splitting the cost of renting a yard machine. We've done it several times. 4 families going in to rent a 24-hour lawn aerator. We each use it for 2 hours and then pass it along to the next person. The final person washes it down and we pitch in our portion to pay for it. It drops the cost by 75%.
Well, that makes sense on many levels. Join online neighborhood groups. easy way to network. You can ask for information that saves money, hear about important security issues in your neighborhood, post services that you offer. The sky's the limit. We belong to a Facebook neighbors group and nextdoor.com. Now, we have one of these in our neighborhood that you belong to.
We do, and this has been invaluable in like getting information. Neighbors will say, hey, I'm selling this thing that I have in my house, and before I, put it up for sale on Marketplace, does anybody in the neighborhood want it? There have been neighbors who have said, I need a teenage boy to come do clean up on my yard. I'm paying whatever, message me and let me know when you're ready to send your kid over to my house to do this for me. So odd jobs, things like that, things like what's going on in the neighborhood. If there's a power outage, everybody is like telling everybody else what they've learned about it. And it's just, I love the idea when you live and this is a moderate sized town. It's really nice to feel like you have a connection with your neighbors. And that's a great way to get it.
It gives it kind of a small town feel. It really does. And you get to know your neighbors better too.
Yeah.
So that when you're out on your walks and you see them out, you can say, hey, I saw that post that you had on Facebook about that lost dog, poor dog. It was a stray in the neighborhood and nobody was claiming it. And very sad story.
Okay, no, we're not getting a dog.
Sad.
But yes, you do see things about lost dogs on those groups. All right, make your own candles. I pick up a lot of free, partially used candles from rummage sales or buy them for nickels. I melt them all down in a saucepan devoted to my candle making and reuse nice candle jars. The wicks cost 6 cents each when purchased in lots of 100. I make candles out of used mushroom cans, nice coffee mugs. These make great gifts, by the way. If you're looking for an inexpensive Christmas gift, listen up, because I think this is a really great idea. You can use jelly jars or salsa jars. If you leave the labels on, they look even cooler. I even sell these candles at my rummage sales every year, and I net about $50 on them.
Wow.
I know it is not as much for the money as it is for the satisfaction of turning unwanted items into necessary supplies. Wonderful idea.
Wow, that's a very bright idea. That's good. Hey, we're going to share some more from our wonderful viewer here on her tips, but we would like to hear from you. If you have some really good tips on being frugal, we would like to use your tips in an upcoming future video. So please feel free to comment in that comment section and give us some of your tips.
And while you're in the comment section, do us a super big favor, scroll up just a little bit and hit that like button for us, will you? Because that helps YouTube know that you're enjoying this video and they will show it to even more people.
And if you like what you're seeing on this channel and you're not subscribed, why not? Hit that subscribe button.
All right, now that we've given you 3 things to do, let's get back to some of our viewer tips. Dig up your excess plants and trade them in at your local extension plant swap or your state university's extension program. If they don't have a plant swap, post online in your neighborhood groups and ask if anyone wants to swap plants. Why buy when you can get plants for free? Great question. We have shared forsythia, raspberries, chocolate mint, and lilies. In return, we've gotten lemon bulb, different varieties of lilies, African violets, and butterfly plants. I sell excess plants at rummage sales and on Marketplace and net $500 a year.
Whoa, I am blown away. Wow, that is a great use. And who knew, right? I mean, that's awesome. Save your seeds. We keep our seeds from store-bought bell peppers, dry them easily on a saucer, then plant them in May. You can do this with a lot of store-bought veggies. Not all, though. To know which ones, just go online. Marigolds are the easiest seeds to harvest. Just pluck the blossom once it's dried and you have over 30 free seeds for marigold plants, just from one single blossom. I save up all the seeds I can find and plant them in May, when I transplant the flowers into cute containers and then I sell them on Marketplace. Wow.
Anybody else thinking about garden already? Some friends of ours who are avid gardeners said they already got their seed catalogs in the mail and they were starting to make plans already, which, I mean, in Illinois, it's just starting to like go below freezing and we're looking for snow and ice and stuff like that. So I suppose that does help the winter go more quickly if you're planning things like your garden as soon as spring breaks. Save rags for patchwork quilts. People go gaga for homemade patchwork quilts. I've made a lot of them. Even did so in my 20s and 30s, and they make amazing gifts.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't know people were still doing a lot of quilts, but apparently that's very popular. Quilts are very warm, and they're very special because they're homemade. They got that homemade touch to them. Don't throw the couch out to the curb before harvesting the stuffing. It's very valuable. It doesn't take long to tear out, and you store it in a large bag. Then when you find nice fabric for pillows, you have the stuffing all ready to go. How about that?
First of all, I would never have thought of that. And I don't know, I like to throw stuff out intact. Like, what if somebody wants it?
Oh, it always gets picked up from our street.
And it's like, we try to we try to like replace stuff when there's enough wear left in it that somebody else might want to take it and use it. So.
And usually the life of something that we put out to our curb out there is about 20 minutes. 20 minutes and it's gone. The only thing they didn't take recently was our old printer. They didn't want that.
You know, interestingly, speaking of couches and chairs, we finally replaced one of our two worn out couches. And so we put the old one, which did have some wear left in it, we put it out to the curb with the matching chair. And a nice group of young men from the local university came by, and they were just so excited to get this furniture for their very first apartment that they were sharing while they were in town going to classes at the university. So that was actually really nice. I pulled up, I said, hey, this is mine. Just so you know, like it's in really good shape and it's clean. And they're like, oh man, we're so excited. Thank you so much. So that was actually a nice moment. They were nice boys. Okay, pine needles for cleaning. In addition to soaking used orange peels in white vinegar to extract their essential oils, which I like to do, yes, you can do the same with pine boughs. We save our excess Christmas pine boughs and soak them in white vinegar in free 1-gallon pickle jars. It makes an amazing cleaner, smells like pine sol, but without all the chemicals.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Banana peels, soak them in water when you're done enjoying the fruit. It makes homemade Miracle Grow, which is ideal for any houseplant or your garden. It makes all my plants grow healthy, so they sell fast. Geraniums love it. It only takes 2 days to make.
All right, so somebody tell me, I have heard other things. I know there are other things you can do with banana peels. Anybody else know other stuff you can do with banana peels? Free plants on the side of the road. Speaking of geraniums, people throw out their planters in the fall. If you see them all the time by the curb. You do here too. If there is any green on a geranium, pull it out, trim off the leaves, and put it in a brown paper bag. Store it in your basement over the winter. Plant it in the spring, and you'll have a free, large, vibrant geranium in weeks. Be sure to add the banana peel, that Miracle Grow she talked about, knockoff, and then save the spike plants. They are often tucked next to flowers in the planters. They transplant easily and sell like hotcakes. They grow well indoors.
Well, she's got a green thumb. There's no doubt about that. Unusual planters. Use nice mugs that you no longer need. Teacups, wine bottle crates, etc. as planters for your home or to sell.
Free paint. People have predictable cleaning habits. They clean out their garages in the fall. Pay attention when they're throwing out half-used cans of paint. Scoop them up and store them in a warm, dry spot in your home. When you spot a freebie furniture item on the side of the road, snag it, sand it, paint it, and use it, or of course, sell it. Paint is inexpensive, but paint is expensive, so why not use free paint? Now, we cannot get through all 50 of the tips that this amazing viewer left. So we're going to save some of them for another video in the future. And just a reminder for you, we're asking for your tips to add to her tips. So make sure that if you have tips that we haven't mentioned yet, you'll leave them in the comments section.
Free lamps on curbs. I have collected over 100 free light bulbs from lamps put out on the side of the curb. People don't remove the light bulbs, believe it or not, when they ditch their lamps. They're nice light bulbs too. Rarely do I get home with it to discover it doesn't work. Now, I'll take something like that thrown out and I'll look it over really good. Sometimes you can rewire it and then that can be sold on Marketplace. Or you might want to use that in your home. Lots of good things are thrown out every week.
So many amazing, frugal things that you can do to save money. And just a reminder, frugality is not about feeling deprived. Frugality is about saving money so that over time you have large amounts of money to do what is really important to you with that money that you have saved. Now, if you want more tips, we actually gave you some of our frugal tips and we did it in a video, and that video is right over there if you haven't watched it yet.